Mr. Goodell, credible, numerous, and serious allegations of sexual misconduct have been made against the Washington Commanders and owner Dan Snyder, who also stands accused of maintaining a toxic work environment that victimizes female employees of the organizations. It should be noted that Mr. Snyder turned down an invitation to appear before this committee, and I thank you for agreeing to appear before us today. And you do so because you understand that Congress has granted the NFL an exemption from the antitrust laws, which enables NFL teams to collaborate on TV contracts. And the NFL does not want Congress to tamper with that antitrust exemption. Am I correct, Mr. Goodell?
Well, we do. I'm here because I feel it's our responsibility to do that.
Well, you would never refuse a request by the committee to come to testify before the committee because you're concerned about what Congress can do about the NFL's antitrust exemption. Isn't that correct?
If I could, let me just address the first portion.
Well, no, I just want to get a yes or no
that,
answer for that question.
It's not a yes or no answer, is it?
It is, Mr. Goodell. Okay. Please cooperate with me now.
I'm
working with you. Just answer my question, sir. I mean, the reason why you come is because you respect our ability to tamper with the NFL exemption, antitrust exemption, correct?
I'm here because I believe you should hear our experience with the Washington Commanders, as I said. Secondly, regarding
the all right. Well, let me move on.
I'm trying to address your antitrust exemption. I think the antitrust exemption that was put back in the early '60s has been very good for consumers.
It has been very profitable for the NFL, and I'm going to reclaim my time. The findings of the NFL's investigation into allegations of sexual harassment by Dan Snyder and the Commanders organization remains secret, and Mr. Snyder himself has not been held accountable by the NFL. Additionally, the NFL has entered into an agreement with Dan Snyder, which prevents the findings of the internal investigation from coming to light. Every step of the way, the NFL appears to have been part of a cover-up that has resulted in credible allegations of the maintenance of a culture of sexual harassment at the Washington Commanders being swept under the rug. Meanwhile, for all we know, women working for the Washington Commanders are still being subjected to a hostile workplace environment while the NFL has stood by Dan Snyder. Statements that the NFL has held Dan Snyder accountable are impossible to verify because of your unwillingness to reveal the findings of the internal investigation. With the antitrust exemption that the NFL enjoys, which has enabled it to be wildly profitable as an enterprise, it is no secret that the influence your company has in the nation and across the world, Mr. Goodell, is fundamental. Why not use this as an opportunity to positively influence the public by holding Dan Snyder accountable for his actions?
Well, we believe we have held him accountable. As we said, we had an independent investigation.
In what way have you held him accountable?
He was fined over $10 million. He stepped away from the organization now for a year. He's required as
so the investigation then has been completed. If it has resulted in a fine, why haven't those results been released to the public?
We released a summary report, which as I
why not the full report?
Because there is no full written report.
Why not?
We had an oral report.
Why has there not been a full written report rendered on this very important issue?
There was a 5-page report that not only talked about our findings in a summary form, that talked about the toxic organization and the facts that we needed to implement new policies and procedures there. We put those recommendations from the independent investigator, Beth Wilkinson, and they implemented and adopted each of those 10 recommendations.
A 5-page report, Mr. Goodell.
The gentleman's time has expired.